Hi, welcome back. This is Dr. Josya, your board certified family physician who is focused now on health, wellness, relationships. Also, I call myself a love and dating coach, but I'm so much more than that. And you are so much more than that too. So, welcome back to another episode. Today, I want to talk to you about why who you associate with matters when it comes to building a loving relationship. Okay. And I want to be clear about this. And I don't know how long this video is going to go, but when I talk about who you associate with, I don't want to focus only on their pedigree, okay? Because that's not enough. Okay, so let's talk about what happens when we have bad companionship. Let's give the most extreme example. Verse 48. If you've heard of the TV show, it's a TV show that shows live footage from homicide departments around the country. A lot of it in major cities. And as they try to find out who did it, they usually go to the friends or the associates of the person who committed the crime, right? Or the associates end up getting in trouble too because they were there during the act of the crime, of the homicide. Or you have the situations where little Johnny was a good boy, but he started hanging out with the wrong crowd. Little Susie was a good girl, but she started hanging out with the bad group, and so on and so forth. The most extreme example of that being actual gangs and gang behavior. So that's the most extreme thing about who you associate with, you know. But taking it on a more sophisticated level, you can be hanging out with the wrong crowd, even though they have the same degree you have. Yes, they might be highly, and I say this speaking to an audience of high achieving women and men. You have your bachelor's, you have your master's, you have your doctorate. So by default, you probably hang out with people who have those advanced degrees as well. But without being conscious or paying attention and auditing your influence circle, your friend circle, you might have people in your circle who are degreed, but who are hindering your ability to find love, who might be hindering your ability to make money, real money, who might be hindering your ability to find your purpose and meaning in life, even though you have a degree. Maybe you're at a stage in your life. I love how one friend called it a midlife awakening, not a crisis. And you're desiring more. You want to build your legacy, or you want to, move that to another level in your career, whatever it is. But the people you hang around are hindering that. Why is this important? Because just like that example I gave of, the first 40 in the homicide thing, you end up guilty by association. You say you want to go meet quality men. We're going back to dating as an analogy. But yet your girlfriend circle are saying N words ain't S words. And I'm going to keep it clean just because of putting it on podcasts and things. And if you have little ones listening, nieces or nephews or your own kids. But you know what I'm saying. And you might be riding along the current with it and think that's completely fine. Or until it's not. And then you're at a crossroads. You meet a quality person. Someone who is kind, who's compassionate, who has an open mindset, a growth mindset. They're good with their money. They love their family. They are faith-filled. They walk the walk. They don't just talk the talk. And you want to actually make something work here. Those same friends can talk you out of it. Well, I don't know, girl. I mean, he can't be that nice. Like, that can't be real. Or, he still talks to his baby mama, and they actually they co-parent. I don't know, girl. I don't know about that. Or I don't know if he's really good. You sure he's good with his money? Like, he actually showed you his credit? I don't believe it. It might be a fake. And those little things like that, you can erode at what you're building. And you're like, you know what, girl? Yeah, you're right. And then you end up self-sabotaging, consciously or unconsciously. And then the relationship ends, right? Or you carry yourself in such a way that makes you less attractive, and not physically attractive, but just your energy. And he decides to stop the courtship. And then you go back to girls like, see, girl, I told you he wasn't this, that, and the other. And you agree with them, but inwardly you feel differently. And I want you, if you are intent on leveling up this year, whether it's love and dating, which is what we talk about mostly, whether it's your health, okay? A lot of high achieving people don't take care of their health. You're stressed out because you're serving people, then you go back home and drink, okay? Or you're, eating unhealthy, or you're not moving your body, and you're around others who say, you can't take that to the grave with you, whatever. You just big bone, this, that, and the other. You can end up sabotaging yourself. All right. You want to buy a property. You want to make an investment move. But everyone around you has never invested in the stock market. They think it's gambling. And they talk you out of it. You end up missing out on certain things because of who you associate with. Now, let's bring it back to the Bible. Because as I said before, this year we're going to be intentional about bringing God into our relationships, bringing God into our lives in a real practical way, not just from a 90-minute sermon or 30. Well, these days are probably 30 minutes on a Saturday or a Sunday in a church building. Psalms 1 says, "Blessed is the man who doesn't walk in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful." Notice the progression. Walking with them, standing with them, and then sitting with them. And this person who had a trajectory for their life ends up becoming stagnant, and even worse, going in the wrong direction. You're blessed in the beginning of the scripture if you don't do those things, if you don't hang out with those kind of people. So here's the challenge I have for you today. I want you to audit your friend circle. I want you to get a pen and paper. I've done this too. Write down the people you associate with. Sally, Bob, Shamika, Tanya, Paul, Michelle, whoever. I'm just throwing out random names, okay? Put them all down. What is their relationship to you? And then prayerfully say, is this person helping or hindering my progress? And when you put the relationship down, you're going to put whether they're a friend, their work colleague, their mentor, their relative, their family member. When I say, and I'm the difference between, for me, the difference between family and relative, you can be related to somebody, but they're not in your inner circle as family. And you can have family, people you consider as family who aren't blood. Okay. And I want you to take this list and pray through it and audit it. You may be surprised that a lot of the people on your list for where you're trying to go cannot go with you. This does not mean you're rude to them. In a few instances, you might have to do a full block. But short of that, you just create healthy distance. They have no access to give you counsel anymore. All right? The same way and I say we, those who are in healing professions and service professions, you're a physician, you're a therapist, you're a lawyer. There are certain people you wouldn't get advice from in your field if they don't have knowledge, right? So if you're a physician, you're not going to go. So let's say you're a primary care doctor like me. You're a generalist. You're not going to go to the nephrologist, the kidney doctor, to ask them, to consult them for a concern of a patient who has a bad ankle, when you should be talking to ortho or podiatry, right? That doesn't make sense. So in the same way, if you're trying to make money, you're not going to go talk to someone who doesn't have two coins to rub together to ask them about buying that multifamily unit, or whether you should invest in options or buy some crypto. So when it comes to love, if you are looking for lasting love, marriage, talk to people who are happily married. Not just look the part, but they're happily, okay? Spend time with them. Stop spending time with fellow singles, especially those who are bitter, because they are spitting out poison and you're taking in the poison. And if you are the one putting out the poison, the good news is that you can change. You can decide right now, hey, I don't want to do that no more. I'm changing. And not only make the decision, but create the environment for success. Just like we talked to those in AA, back to the alcohol, thing I mentioned earlier. In AA, they tell them to avoid those spaces and people that can cause them to relapse. So make the list, create an audit, and on the flip side, make a list of people you want to spend more time with, who you want to seek counsel from. Maybe there are some YouTube channels you need to listen to more, some podcasts, some books you got to read, okay? If you need some help with resources, just hit me up. I'll be more than glad to show you some, okay? So that you are creating an environment for success, an environment for love, an environment for peace, so that you can have the best year yet, to have the best life yet. Okay? Very quick, very simple. I hope that helps you. Let me know what stood out for you in the comments. All right. Till next time.